everyone. Here we are again. Another podcast, another day. Let's get started. So, I was actually surprised to hear that you saw Obsession, because it just seems to me like you would just kind of look at that and just be like, oh, that looks like fucking dog shit. But I guess you got caught up in the hype. You got long-legged into it.
Yes and no. I saw the trailer and it did kind of intrigue me with the Twilight Zone premise. But I had no plans to see it. A buddy of mine contacted me that night and he was like, hey, I want to go see this movie.
Yeah.
Or we went out and he was sort of like, hey, let's go check out this movie. And I was like, all right. So I was just kind of tagging along and happened to see it, but
yeah,
but I didn't resist.
Right. No, I'm not going. You said Twilight Zone. I think it's the exact premise was from Tales from the Crypt episode.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It was with Mariel Hemingway, and do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also, what's his name? Do you remember Weekend at Bernie's?
Sure.
So there's two guys in Weekend at Bernie's. One of them's name is Jonathan Silverman, and the other guy's name is Andrew McCarthy. He's Jonathan Silverman is the handsome sort of main love interest, and then Andrew McCarthy is his sidekick. So the sidekick is the star of the Tales from the Crypt episode. I believe it's season 2, episode 1. I know it's episode 1, but it's either season 2 or 3. I think it's 2, but I think it's called it's something like Till Death Do Us Part, or let's even just find out.
But I mean, just sort of that story structure of, be careful what you wish for, or somebody getting their wish and it becomes a nightmare. It's very Twilight Zone.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. The episode is called Loved to Death, of course. And yeah, season 3, episode 1. Okay. That episode is really, I guess memorable. It's one of those, one of the Tales from the Crypt episodes that I remember pretty clearly.
I kind of want to watch it now.
Yeah, it's good. It's again, I won't spoil it for you, but I'll just tell you that it's the same thing. But the setting is that it takes place in LA, and it's very LA coded. So the guy, the Weekend at Bernie's guy is a struggling writer. It's based around sort of him trying to write a screenplay, and he's like, God damn it, why can't I get my characters to be real or whatever, and then then Mariel Hemingway lives in the same building, and she's I don't know that she's an actress. Maybe she is, but I think that, but she's a babe, and she's, at the point in her life where she's just getting a lot of attention. She's getting taken out and wined and dined, and she's on top of the world, So sure. And then she asks, the guy asks her, if she wants to have a drink with him. So he gets a bouquet of roses, and he's going to meet her at 9, and then she knocks on the door and no one answers. And then he waits around for a couple hours, and then late at night, she arrives back at their apartment with she's forgotten about her date with him. And then she comes back with another guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. And then she's sorry, I forgot about our drink. I guess we'll have to do it another time. Oh, where are you going? You have flowers. She just assumes that he's going out on some other date. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go see some special lady. He's sad about it. And then they go into the apartment, and then he just hears them having sex, and he's like, ah. And then, what's the name of the guy from Blowout? Hemmings?
John Travolta? Yeah,
John Travolta. Not Blowout, Blow Up.
David
Hemmings. Right. So David Hemmings is the landlord, and the landlord is the guy who gives him the magic elixir to make her fall in love. And it's, and that's it. I won't tell you anymore. I won't tell you sort of how it unravels or whatever. But
even within that structure you just explained, the fact that these characters in the Tales from the Crypt story are pretty much strangers definitely helps the premise. Whereas in Obsession, these two people are friends.
Yeah.
They're very
Like childhood friends.
They're working together. They seem fairly close, especially for a man-woman relationship.
Right.
And I'd have to say, like, that was probably like the first kind of disappointing detail. Because it sort of like, it felt like, well, if this guy just put in like maybe a couple more hours of work, he probably could have achieved his goal without having to make some sort of wacky wish.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm defending the movie now, but I mean, I don't think he expected the wish to work. He just kind of like did it like on a whim. But
and the other thing that really was off-putting was that particular actor's performance of the sort of stuttering
John
Melendez impression. Yeah. Just like do you think that I don't
sounds like the podcast. Sounds like me on the podcast.
It's just like it's so unpleasant and grating.
Yeah, sort of like contemporary culture tells us that like once you've been friend zoned, once you've been friend zoned, that's it. You're stuck, you know. But I mean, right. In my experience, that's not the case at all. Like if you could know someone for like a long time, and then as long as you make like just a wise move, you can get in there. It's pretty easy, actually. I'd say it's even easier than the alternative.
Right.
But anyway, that's Rob's dating tip right there. Just because you think you're in the friend zone doesn't mean you can't smash.
Well, that's what I'm like. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like with this story, like it's frustrating in that way that you think that, like, you know, if he wasn't such a fucking pussy, he would be able to like make that move and make things happen.
Right. There you go. This is now going to be a pickup artist podcast.
But I just sort of feel like the story would have been more effective if they didn't know each other. And this was just like a strange woman that this guy's obsessed with. And he just is maybe like maybe just like the barest of an acquaintance. And yeah, I feel like it would have been, it just would have been a more interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
What you need to do is you need to find the loophole in the female brain. You need to, have you never heard that before?
No.
Oh, that's like a pickup artist thing. I thought you would laugh. Okay. It was whatever, totally bombed. Anyways.
I don't think I ever watched that show with that dude who would wear like the goggles and the fedoras. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I feel like there's several guys like that.
And his name was like Mystery.
What?
He would wear like a feather boa. Like the name of the show was, I think, called like The Pickup Artist or something.
Right.
And his whole thing was like he was teaching guys how to hook up with chicks, and he had like a whole like step-by-step plan. Is like, this is what you have to do.
Don't put the pussy on the pedestal. If you put the pussy on the pedestal, you can't get the pussy down. Keep going.
But he had like, he had the fedora. He had like aviator goggles on the fedora. He would wear like a green feather boa, and he'd have like a ponytail. And
wow, it's like the Red Baron.
And it like on first glance, you'd see this guy and you'd be like, man, what's this guy's deal? He looks like a fucking lunatic. But then, can't argue with the numbers.
Oh my God. You're so interesting. What was your name again? Who's the new guy? But anyways, Mystery. That's the loophole in the female brain. You have to create mystery.
You have to create a nickname.
Right. Catchphrase. Anyways, okay, so like regarding Obsession, yeah, like that, like, you can't help but sort of like do a little bit of script doctoring in your head about about stuff and think if that, because that actually is like the test of whether or not the movie's bad or not, is if you can just sort of make it better, like easily.
Right.
You know? And the first thing that I realized, ooh, geez. Wow. The first thing that I realized that kind of made me go like, wait a second, this is a problem here, is how she feeds him his cat. Like she cuts up his cat and feeds him his cat, and then leaves a note that says, "How do you like cats?" You know, and it's just kind of like, and it's like, okay, so she did it on purpose. Like what? At what point? Or what's the? People must be talking about this, you know, because it's so glaringly obvious. It's like, at what point did I want this girl to love me more than anything else? Like, how does that translate into like, I'm going to cut up your cat and feed it to you, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I had that same thought in my head, that same detail. And the guy that I saw the movie with, he was kind of like, well, I think at that point she was probably possessed by some demon or something.
Don't ever talk to this guy ever again.
But I was kind of like, well, that's not really made clear. Like the whole point of the movie should be, she is now obsessed with him and completely in love with him and obsessed. And so everything that she does should radiate from that feeling.
Yeah,
so the fact that she's like feeding him his cat, it's not making sense.
Yeah. Like, why doesn't she just burn his house down? Or why doesn't she just cut off his dick? If she, you know,
shoot him.
Yeah.
Like, if she hates him that much, is going to feed him cat. Like,
yeah.
What was her? But it's sort of like the movie kind of has this girl sort of fluctuating between that sort of obsessive love behavior and just being like a psychopath. Like maybe they were trying to do, not Basic Instinct.
Fatal Attraction.
They were trying to do the sort of the Fatal Attraction thing, and they were trying to, like they saw that and they saw Glenn Close boiling the bunny in the water, and
I'll bet you fucking like, well, I'll bet you $50 that kid's never seen Fatal Attraction.
Okay.
Like, I mean, he just doesn't seem like the guy who really digs deep.
But it just sounds like somebody from like a far off country who sees Fatal Attraction and might like interpret like, oh, that's what obsessive lovers do. They cook each other's pets and feed them to it or something. Yeah. Like some kind of like weird alien interpretation of Turkish love.
Turkish Fatal Attraction.
Yeah. Polish Fatal Attraction.
Right. So here's the script doctor is just like, this guy, this lonely guy, his only friend is his cat. Already established early on. The first time we see the cat, it's dead. All right, we'll have the cat be alive. The cat is the only thing that kind of like, you know, grounds him in his life. This girl falls in love with him. She becomes jealous of the cat. She kills the cat because she can't bear that he loves the cat, you know, with her in his life. And she eats the cat. If you want to have someone eating a fucking cat, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's how you do it. It's
also,
not hard.
You know, going off of what you're saying, this kid, Bear,
not much of a bear. It looks more like a twink to me. I bet people have said that too.
He has no family, at least in the movie, and he's got a medicine chest full of pills that his cat has access to. It's not like I think they belong to it's not really clear whose pills these are. But they're some kind of like poison, like they're serious pills. But the fact that like he has no family in the film, you know, no mom, no dad, whatever, no relatives, that in and of itself is sort of like a missed opportunity for this obsessed woman to sort of like, and he also doesn't have like if he had some important job or like he was trying to get some kind of job going, or he had some like relationships with his family, and then this girl comes in and starts to basically upset those things, that would have been Interesting.
Yeah, like she, even if like you introduce like a plot point where like he still follows like his ex on Instagram or something, and she can't bear that and have some sort of thread go that way. Whatever. I mean, okay, fine. Like maybe they just
or he's just like following random Instagram hotties, and then like this girl's just like going out and murdering them.
That's see that this is good stuff here. You know, we should sit down. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna plug another podcast actually right now, which is. Okay. I mean, plug. They're on iHeart Podcast.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Okay. So this guy his name's Joe Rogan. He really likes kratom. No,
it's InfoWars.
It's actually Robert Smigel's podcast. Have you heard of it?
I know Robert Smigel, but I didn't know he had a podcast.
He's got a podcast called Humor Me, and it's basically him and like whatever guests are on have a caller call in who's like, like, oh, I have a barbershop quartet, and we basically perform at Rotary clubs to people who are like 70 and plus. And, you know, I just feel like kind of our in between songs banter isn't funny enough. Mm-hmm. So I was hoping I could call in and help you guys, ask you guys to help me punch it up. So then they'll just like punch up. They'll just basically offer writing room services to just like sort of regular people. And it's very fun. And then at the end of the show, like the last like quarter of the show is them listening to a recording of the show and actually kind of just like listening to like their adjustments, like actually in the wild. Mm-hmm. And, it's pretty funny. But the thing is that you really have to like kind of late night writing like that kind of comedy, like that kind of Jewish kind of comedy, you know?
Sure.
So yeah.
Jewish comedy.
Well, I mean, like that's what that is. Like that, like what's more Jewish than like writer's room, like, you know, jokes for fucking Jay Leno. Like that's fully Jewish, right. You know? So you have to, cause like I was telling this to my friend who's like South African, and I was like, and I was thinking, I was like, you're not going to like this because you kind of have to be, you have to kind of just have grown up watching like late night talk shows and
right.
like sort of sketch like, you know, Jew shit, like sketch comedy type stuff, like all the stuff that we've all been inundated with, having a like sort of American television be the backbone of our whatever collective psyche. But in any case, yeah, that podcast, I think I've listened to 2 episodes of it, and I've been like, this is actually pretty good. This is a podcast that I'll probably keep listening to. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that there's any podcast that I actually really actually care about other than our own.
Right. Ours
is the best one out of
Joe
everybody.
Rogan.
Of course,
and
Joe
Nick
Rogan.
Fuentes.
Yeah. Anybody who's like this, like a bodybuilder guy who's knows about, you know, fucking
conspiracies.
No, like health, you know, like a bodybuilder guy who knows about like neuroscience or whatever. It's like, so I'm actually a neurosurgeon, and he's got like veins just like popping out of his fucking neck. It's like, Jesus, can you imagine that guy like doing like brain surgery on you? But anyways, let's get back to this fucking movie. Hot. Yeah, there's another instance of sort of like, oh, well, you know, why is this happening? Well, because it's a scary movie, you know, like that's the only kind of thought, like that's the cat thing, right? It's just like,
right.
Why is she doing that? Well, because it's a scary movie. The guy wakes up in the middle of the night and the girl's, you know, sort of crouched up into the corner like a ghoul. And right. She's like, what are you doing? And it's like, I'm watching you sleep. You know, and then she's just acting all weird and spooky and scary. Yeah,
she's acting like Samara from the Ring,
right? Or the ghost from what's it called? Cairo, fucking the Pulse. Remember that movie?
Oh yeah.
I think they even did a thing like that where they film her backwards. And she just kind of randomly does like a backwards thing, and it happens once in the movie. And you're just like, what? Come on, guys! Like,
yeah, like so it wants to have her be like possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but then other times she's on point with, you know, the obsession. Like she loves this guy and she's just like doing crazy shit based off of that obsession. but yeah, there's too much like stuff going on that isn't that feels off topic.
Yeah. And then, and you're thinking like, you were in bed with him. Why wouldn't you just be next to him in bed watching him sleep? I mean,
Right.
well,
Yeah. Why do you have to go stand in the corner like a
looking
ghoul?
scary? Yeah. And it's like, well, because if she was next to him, then it wouldn't be scary. So I don't have any kind of resource to kind of make this scary. So I'll just like force it into just being scary. And also like the reveal of this is something that because I'd say that I'm a little bit more plugged into YouTube than you are. But like the reveal of like the door being taped shut, like, like how, like them looking this way and then the camera turning this way, like, and then revealing the door being taped shut. Yeah. That's so YouTube. I can't explain it, but that's such a YouTube structure, to do something like have sort of
YouTube reveal.
Yeah. I mean, and that, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, like seeing sort of like YouTube conventions work their way into cinema.
No, I mean, I don't have a problem with that type of reveal. It was just like he turns and like, oh my God, she's like put 1,000 pounds of duct tape on the door.
Yeah, I better get an X-Acto knife and take 5 seconds to open it.
And then he's just kind of like, Yeah. And she's just kind of sitting there like, oh, okay. And she doesn't seem to be bothered by the fact that he's then able to just open the door in less than 30 seconds and get out the door. So then her desire, clearly the duct tape was her desire for him to not leave. And then he leaves and she doesn't seem to be bothered by that.
Yeah. I mean, like, you have to look to something like maybe Misery, like maybe she, cripples him or something. I heard a story about somebody who was being poisoned by his wife, who was giving him like mercury in his food, and then it all, because of gravity, it all, like heavy metals would travel to like the lowest point of the body, so they all settled up in his feet and toes, and he had to get a couple toes removed. And goddamn, I got a little bit of a boogery throat right now. But anyways, like, I mean, that's kind of like that takes months, if not years. Well, I guess months to do it without killing someone. So that, you want the movie to be pretty snappy. So that doesn't work. But anyways, yeah, like just the idea of her like sort of crippling him, like sort of, okay.
Yeah, Misery is sort of a good example of sort of the direction that something like this movie should go in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and let me tell you this too. I don't know if you know, but that kid who did the movie, it's like 25-year-old kid or 26-year-old kid. He's got the gig to do the next Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Are you happy about that?
No, I'm always angry at anyone's success.
Yeah. But I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre specifically, it's like,
I mean, there's no way that you can't, like, it's going to be garbage. Like, it's just, there's no way you can make this work.
Yeah.
Like that movie is such, like, everything about it is of its time and the moment and those people. You can't find another hitchhiker guy, Edwin.
Oh, right. Ryan? I forget. I never know what anybody's name is in that movie.
Or you're not going to find a Gunnar Hansen, like you're not going to find another Franklin. Like all those people were like the reason that the movie is good is because of those people. And if you don't have those people, then it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I don't know. For me, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is less about like the players and more just about the first time that we had ever seen anything like this, and also and this being sort of this like this very unique or this very specific and unique flavor of horror. Kind of like, I mean, we already have covered the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I was just about to go into sort of like some stuff that we'd already talked about on that show. But what's interesting is that all the sequels and all the remakes just aren't even fucking close to that flavor. You know, they don't even get close. They can use that sound as much as they want, but they're not going to get close to that. You know,
exactly.
But
I mean, it's sort of like it's you got all these amazing players in the film. You have, it's made the time that it's made, 1972, 73, whatever it is. The texture of the film, it feels like it's just like some kind of piece of pornography that you find in a insane person's basement.
In the insane clown posse's basement.
It has a texture to it that is just dripping with sweat. Like you can feel the sweat coming off the screen. It's just, you can smell the people. It's like disgusting. And of course, like Tobe Hooper and like all these people that are like putting in the effort of making this thing, like you can't, it's like lightning in a bottle. You can't recapture it.
There's a funny like bluntness to the
bluntness.
Say what?
Is it Emily Bluntness?
Yeah, Emily Bluntness. There's a She's funny. Go ahead and make your joke. Make your little joke.
No, I'm done.
All right. Did you see her? Did you see the Smashing Machine? Did you see her in the Smashing Machine?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
It's not terrible, but it definitely is like really meandering. And the only thing that carries it through is just sort of how charismatic The Rock is. Okay. Like I think he's good in it. I really think he's good in it. But the movie, like the propulsion, the forward momentum of the movie just kind of isn't there. It doesn't move. It just sort of wallows. But I mean, there's parts where he has like an overdose or whatever, and then he's in the hospital and he's trying to talk with like his bro, and he's trying to tell him he's okay when he's not, and then he starts crying, and I'm just kind of like, I like this. This is good stuff. This is good stuff right here. But in any case, regarding the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like just like, the Leatherface running out of the house, like that girl running out of the house and Leatherface chasing her and grabbing her and pulling her back in, that the door opening up and slamming that weird door in the back that leads to sort of like the room. Like there's a very, like, it's very, I really do consider the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as being kind of like this bizarre, dark art film that just sort of got kind of, okay, well, I guess it's a horror film. Let's just call it that. Let's call it a slasher film, but it's really something completely different. And then, but what's funny is that what makes it what it is sort of this like unartfulness, like this just sort of showing it, like showing the thing without kind of any kind of funny angle. Well, actually, no, I mean, that's not true. Like, I mean, everyone always notes the shot where she goes from the swing to the front door and we kind of are like up, kind of looking at her ass the whole time, like that. So there are definitely like artistic decisions made. But anyways, whatever. Fuck yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Good luck, fucking Curry Baxter, whatever that guy's name is, the director of Obsession. Like, I mean, prove me wrong. I hope you fucking do something really good. Although I've heard
this is the type of thing that it doesn't matter if it's good or not. It's got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre title on it, and so automatically people are going to go see it. So fuck that movie and fuck him.
Yeah. I've heard him talk about it in interviews, and he's seems to be really focused more on the 2003 version. He's like, yeah, the 2003 version really fucking fucked me up when I was a kid. And that's what he goes to immediately. And I'm just like, okay, well, all right. Yeah. I mean, remake that. Like, I guess we're at that point. That's pretty appropriate.
Is that the one with Jessica Biel and Sergeant Hardman?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like if that came out and it was just its own thing, I wouldn't hate it. But I mean, you know, it's not, what, I mean, yeah, whatever. To be honest, I'm not even sure if I really remember it. That came out during the time, like when everything was kind of like that really cruel kind of horror anyways. Like that's when like High Tension had come out and Saw had come out. Right.
Hostel.
Right. Maybe I should watch the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I remember most of it just being like Sergeant Hardman fucking like just yelling at people. Like most of it was that, you know?
Yeah, I don't remember any of it. I remember Jessica Biel's
today's, yeah, for sure. Today's that she was like, that probably did a lot to get asses in seats. Like the girl from, what's it? Seventh Heaven. Yes, the girl from Seventh Heaven. Finally grown up, finally ready to she's blossomed. Her pussy lips have opened up and they're ready for you guys to come look at her wet titties. Anyways, so Obsession, what else is there to talk about? I mean, what do we like about it? I think it's pretty competent. I feel like it's paced pretty well, very well, I would even say. Like it moves well. And it doesn't overstay its welcome.
I felt a little like we kept sort of like going back to the same thing a couple times. Like there seemed to be a couple times where Bear is confronted about, hey, what's wrong with Nikki? What do you mean? She's great. She's fine. Oh, really? She seems like she's a little weird. No, she's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong. Like that bit seemed weird to me. And also like playing the guy, like being sort of like this nervous kind of like, I don't know. But then he's still, fucking that ass.
Tapping that ass and beating that pussy up.
He's still tapping the ass. He has no problem fucking her. That doesn't seem to like bother him. So there, I don't know if like it felt strange for someone as neurotic as that to, like again, if he had been a complete stranger and this was going on, it feels like fucking her would have been like, yeah, this is great. I'm fucking this chick and she really likes me and everything's like going my way. And then gradually like things start to unravel and get worse and get crazier and stranger. But because we start off from this place of like, well, they're friends and he's in the friend zone and he's trying to like break out of the friend zone, and it just makes the story not as fun or something.
I mean, you could do like as you say this, I'm like, there is sort of something that could be explored, like the sort of the tragedy of like this person that you actually kind of like there's this person that you've known for like your whole life and you kind of like love them, and you kind of wish like, oh man, I wish that I love this person, like this friend of mine so much. I wish I could just sort of take it to this level where we could like, have like a romantic relationship. But then in making that decision, he's kind of destroyed this friendship that he's had like his entire life. Like there's something interesting
Right.
to sort of to talk about with that isn't really talked about, that isn't really explored. It's just, this is the movie. Man, like I really like this girl, but I just don't have the confidence to approach her, and then he makes the wish. And then like 1 week later, he's like, I don't know. She's pretty clingy. It's creepy, and it's just like,
Right.
what the fuck do you want, dude? Like, and you're supposed to be behind this fucking guy. You're supposed to be like, yeah, bitches do be crazy. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, like it just seems like it really reminds me of, it reminds me of like when Post Malone used to be popular, and there used to be like there was this song that I'd always hear, and it's like sort of this post Lamaz, Post Malone, fucking Damone from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Vic Damone.
Yeah, he's singing like about like heartbreak, like he's just like, you know, you fucking broke whatever. Some of you broke my heart. You know,
right.
And it's just kind of like, and then I'm like, okay, cool. And then I find out that like and you're kind of like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know, like I'm feeling it. And then you realize that the song is like from a 21-year-old, and you're kind of like, like, just, you know, shut up, dude. Like live a little longer and understand kind of like what any of this, what actual like heartbreak and stuff actually like means, and like what, you know, cause like, but then at the same time, you're like, well, you know, what the fuck is, yeah, sure. Like, what is a 21-year-old going to tell me about heartbreak? But then what is a fucking 38-year-old guy going to tell me about popular music? You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear what a 38-year-old has to say about any of that shit either.
Yeah.
But the point is just like, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that the presuppositions that are made in Obsession are very young ways of looking at like love and relationships and stuff. And it's kind of just like, It just feels very like inexperienced, but it would be okay if the characters were like that. But the actual voice behind the filmmaking, I think, is like that too. You know,
no, I mean, and going off of what you're saying, like in the sort of story premise that I'm presenting, which is like, you know, these are two complete strangers, and the guy becomes obsessed, and then he's, you know, makes the wish. That would be very simple, and I feel like that would be something that this guy could handle. But I feel like because he's presenting us with this more complex relationship of like, these people have known each other since childhood, and for their entire life together, he's just been a stuttering doofus who's completely incapable of expressing his true feelings to this woman. And now he's made this wish, and now he's in this situation where this girl loves him, but he knows it's totally against her will, and he probably had, you know, he has these like true feelings, both just as like a human being that he's known for most of his life, and and the damage that he's doing and what he's done, and how to cope with this problem. He's dealing with this complex issue on a very superficial level.
Yeah. There's a part, again, like it's one of these things where it's like, let's just put it in because it's scary, but let's not actually really consider it, what it means. The part where he calls the hotline on the box of that fucking thing, of that stick.
Right.
And the guy's like, what?
Which was very similar to The Substance, I thought.
Yeah,
100%. It reminded me of The Substance. And also slanted as well, like these sort of like wish movies where you have like a direct line to the Wishmaster.
Right.
And you could be like, hey, the wish isn't working.
Yeah.
Oh, tough shit.
Yeah.
That's sort of like every one of them is sort of the same.
Yeah. Am I to think you are unhappy with your wish? That's the actual Wishmaster voice. Man, I love the Wishmaster, dude. The Wishmaster is one of my favorite dudes around.
We should talk about that one.
Yeah. We should do 1 and 2 for sure. Jack Shoulder, my boy Jack Shoulder did Wishmaster 2. And I guess it was some special effects guy did Wishmaster 1. Kurtzman.
The famous Kurtzman, famous for
Fuck My Son.
That's right.
Fuck My Son.
The genius, the AI genius behind Fuck My Son.
Yeah, exactly. The AI tech bro, tech guru. So yeah, so I mean, he calls the fucking hotline, and there's this,
And
you know,
Spicoli answers.
yeah, Spicoli answers, and that's cool.
Dude.
First, like, that's kind of cool. You're kind of thinking, okay, well, who would put out this product, you know?
Spicoli.
Yeah, it works. Turns out it's Jeff Spicoli, and then he kind of is like, I don't know. But then there's this kind of interesting part where he says, oh, before you go, like, he reveals that, oh, he's been fucking with this guy a little bit. Like, he's kind of taking pleasure in this. He says, do you want to hear the real fucking Mitzi or whatever her name is? And, Nikki. And then you hear, he takes the phone off his ear and he puts it outward, and you just hear, like, nah! She's screaming. She's in agony, like boiling in the pits of hell or something. And then it's like, oh, that's kind of chilling. But then you're like, okay, so hold on a second. So that's not even her. So what the hell is going on here? I don't need to know everything, but like, I'd like to just at least have an idea of how this, of what the structure of what's happening is. Is it?
Well, they also do that thing. Like, she has those moments where, like, she clearly
comes
realizes,
back. Yeah,
like, what's going on. She has like a complete, like, shocking freak out and starts bashing herself in the head, and then suddenly she's like comes back to
being in love.
Yeah. So even that is kind of like what you said. Like, what are the rules of what is going on?
Yeah, and it's important with a film like this because
it's like
Gremlins
so
simple.
or like any of these other types of movies that have like, here's the problem, and here are the rules for this problem. You know, here's what you have to do. Here's what you have to do to solve it. You just can't just making shit up and doing this or that. It kind of loses. Like, even within the universe that it's creating, it lacks substance.
Speaking of the substance, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, with that call, I'm like, okay, so the only way that this makes sense is because it is still her. It has all her memories and stuff, like, inside the body. So, I mean, it must make two of her, and one of them's just in love with him, and the other one's like the regular her. And that one goes off into fucking negative zone, like into the fucking 2-dimensional prison in Superman 2 or Superman 1 for that matter. But, and she just stays there, like, kind of in like limbo, purgatory. That's, I guess, how it works. I guess. But it's sort of like, okay, well, if that's how it works, then that adds like a whole other thing that needs to be explored. And here's the aggravating part is that I know that the filmmaker isn't thinking about this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he doesn't care. He doesn't care. But
but that's, and that again is sort of like when you see this type of thing, like, oh, now she's like the girl, now she's like Samara from The Ring, and now she's like the Exorcist, and now she's doing this, and now she's doing that. You know, now she's possessed. It sort of makes you feel like, does somebody over there give a shit of like what is going on, like how this world works? It's like basically making this statement, like, I don't care. I don't care if this makes sense. I don't care if, this is a complete fantasy and I can just do whatever I want. There's no rules. Okay, now she's a demon. Now she's herself. Now she's a crazy person. Now she's shitting on the floor. Now she's doing this. And now she's killing the cat. It just screams of, I don't fucking give a shit. I'm just going to throw shit at the wall. And if it works, it works.
Yeah. And it just sort of like vaguely connects. Like it close enough kind of, like, it has this very like good enough, close enough kind of, attitude. Like,
and the fact that, like, also just to go back to this part too, like the fact that the kid Bear, like, literally has no life. He has no hopes, dreams. He's working at a liquor store. I'm not liquor. He's working at a music store, and he doesn't have any prospects. He's not like trying to get a job somewhere else. He doesn't have any family. So the fact that you're now putting him in this situation where he has this obsessive lover, she's got like nothing to work with. Like there's really not much she can ruin.
Yeah, he has nothing to lose
about his life because he doesn't have a life. So
Yeah.
he has no life to ruin. And probably one of the better moments in the film, but again, like this also sort of feels like, oh, what the fuck, we'll just do this anyway, where he has the little tryst with the other girl in the movie, and she reveals like, oh, I finally got into college, and then the possessed girl like breaks through the window and bashes her head into a brick or something.
Yeah.
On the steering wheel. I mean, that was one of the more interesting kills in the movie. But it just feels like we're creating this scenario just so we can have this moment. Like as soon as she starts texting Bear at like 2 a.m., like, I need to talk to you right now. And it can't wait. Like you can already see we're setting up something. Like, they're going to meet and secretly. But that's sort of like the only real moment where, because that even at that moment he starts like there is a little bit of sort of like, oh, like maybe I like this girl instead.
Mm-hmm.
and then of course the obsessed girl comes in and kills her. That's like the only thing in his life that she winds up killing. And I mean, she's barely in his life, just like another friend of his. But
yeah.
He's got nothing going on. He's not interesting at all.
Well, she ruins Dude Night.
Yeah, that was a disaster. And even at the beginning, like when he the cat eats all these prescription pills, and I thought like, oh, maybe he's like living with his sick grandmother, like taking care of a sick grandmother.
No, you just need to have Chekhov's pills in the fucking medicine cabinet.
But there's like, what are those pills for?
They're for when he needs to kill himself at the end.
Yeah, but other than that, like, what are they doing there? Like, why do you keep these pills? Like, what are, like, other than the suicide at the end, like, what is their purpose? But he lives in a house, and he works at a music store. It doesn't make sense.
Did you see? You know what I rewatched recently is Bring Her Back, the follow up to Talk to Me. Did you ever see Bring Her Back?
No.
I think you should, man. I think that those guys are actually a lot more talented than you give them credit for. I know you were sort of like, I think that you went into Talk to Me with sort of your defenses up. That's what I think.
Maybe I see it as part of that wave of trauma horror that I despise. Yeah,
well, I don't know. I mean, Bring Her Back is similar, like it's the same thing, but I like, okay, after watching Obsession and then you watch something like Bring Her Back, it's like, this is kind of the real deal here. Like these guys actually are taking their own film seriously. Like for the bar to be as low as it is now, where it's like, I like films where the filmmaker actually cares about the film he's making. That's the kind of film I like.
Huh? What kind of genre is that?
Yeah. It's a new genre.
I like this new genre of filmmaking made by people who give a shit.
Yeah. But I recommend that movie. I think also what's her name, Sally Hawkins. She gives a really great performance. Not to mention the fact that these two kids in this movie, these two like young teenagers, like 17 and 15 or even younger, like are just really good in this movie, and the way that sort of the how do you say that? Like kind of the mechanics of the horror, like the lore of the supernatural is kind of given in the periphery. It's really, really good. Like really like sophisticated. Like it's somebody who's been watching horror movies and who understands them for like a long time and is sick of sort of the stupid shit and kind of is like, and it really has a good sense of like trusting an audience, like not fuck, man, how do you say it? Like not being patronizing to an audience. Like I think it's good. I think it's a good film. Definitely superior to Talk to Me. And I liked Talk to Me. I thought it was good. I thought it was like a good sort of like young horror. Like it's almost like like it's for a younger audience, but it's like, I mean, you can give your kid like fucking Domino's pizza, or you could give them like something that from like a artist. Yeah, you give them Little Caesars, and Talk to Me is more of like Little Caesars with the stuffed crust, just a little bit more sophisticated. You could give them fucking Little Caesars, or you could give them Little Caesars and a beret to wear while they fucking wear it. But so here's the last little thing to cap off the talk of obsession is what do you think? What do you think? Here's the $1 million question: is like, or the $1 billion question is like, why is it connecting with people so much? Like, what? It really does feel like a right place at the right time situation, because like this, if you made this movie like 15 years ago, I don't think it would have. Like, there's something about just like it just feels like a right place, right time kind of movie. Like, what is it? What is it about this movie? Because it's like, the things that we pointed out are pretty clear. Like the problems with it, and sort of I think it's laziness, like the laziness or the oversights in it, and also kind of like how you said too, like the lack of depth. I mean, it's pretty much. I'll give it to like sort of. I think the performances are maybe a little bit better than average. Like I think.
Yeah, and I have to say that might be the thing I like most about it was the girl's performance. I thought she did a pretty good job being crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as why people like it, I mean, I kind of took a peek on Reddit a little bit, and I think there's just something about this, the kind of like toxic masculinity.
Oh no.
Situation that people like, kids love that shit. I think they love those types of stories of a guy getting his comeuppance from a woman.
But I mean, she's the one who suffers like most of the time. Like, she's the one getting beaten up and battered and stabbed in the face and
right.
Shitting
but it's
herself.
sort of like, but it's his sort of like, it's his sort of
cross to bear.
Yeah, it's like his sexual desire that leads to the horror. Like, he's like, people like to point out the source of, like who started this war, who started imperialism, who's the one, white people, man did it. And in this case too, like, a man caused the problem. Everybody was having a perfectly nice life, and then all of a sudden this white man came in and broke the wishing willow, and so we can all point the finger at him. And
I don't like. I mean, okay, well, you looked on Reddit, and I guess you saw what you saw, but like,
but it was like, like they were all saying like, this guy's a rapist. He's a rapist, and I mean, technically he is a rapist, but it's just funny how like
he just stopped right there. It's like, he is a rapist, but it's funny.
But it's funny that he's the way he sort of like played off as this kind of like, just kind of like, I didn't mean, I was just, I didn't, like, he's just kind of like this ineffectual loser, but yet he's still like a horrible rapist.
Yeah.
I think people, I think the people that like it are like connecting with that. Like, yeah, see, like, even the most nebbishy, ineffectual loser is a rapist. It validates my feelings of all men.
Oh, get out of town. Like the truth is, like, it's the fuck, or you can flip it the other way if you want to be like the fucking.
And he's not a rapist because he got consent.
If you want to be
that's not, consent isn't rape. She's like practically like she's practically tearing his clothes off trying to fuck him.
Yeah, but
what's he supposed to do? Not fuck her?
No, are you kidding me? Come on. The act of making the wish is the act of rape. But the point is, I mean, I know that you know that, but like, I'm just saying it because just so that the audience.
That's like saying like, oh, the girl smoked weed and now just because she's like, okay, I want to fuck now. I've had a couple shots and I smoked some weed and now I want to fuck. And then the next day she's like, well, actually I made a mistake. I didn't want to do those things.
Okay. Well, I mean, just replace weed with GHB and what do you say then?
Or
roofies.
Well, roofies is different. Well, it's different.
Why is it different? Why is it different?
It's different if you sneak it into their drink.
Yeah, well, exactly. She didn't know that he was making this wish. I mean, I'm right about this, Johnny. Stop trying to argue. What the fuck are you doing? But the point is that you can take that sort of leftist bleeding liberal cuck thing and be like, all men are rapists or whatever, or you can take like sort of the closeted gay fucking Sam Harris fucking Jordan Peterson thing and say, weak men. There's nothing more dangerous than a weak man when you give him power, like that's why men have to be strong and masculine, because those are the men that are honorable and moral. But like a weak kind of, little bitch like this, like if you give him just like a modicum of power, he will abuse it. That's the evil of weakness, of the evil of non-masculinity. Right.
Right. But I don't I don't see this as a like, that's the thing. Like, I don't get the sense we never get that really. Like, I never feel like, and I feel like if this had been a story of two strangers, you would have initially had that rush of power at the top of the relationship, being like, hey, this girl loves me and now she's doing whatever I tell her to do. And now I tell her to fuck me and she fucks me, tell her to make me my breakfast and she does it. And then things coming unraveled. You never get that here. Like, as soon as he breaks that stick and she's standing on the porch, he's just confused. He's in shock. He doesn't know what to do. And that he stays that way through the whole movie.
Yeah.
There's never a point where he's sort of like, hey, this is pretty cool. Like, this girl that I've been, crushing on for the last, 10 years they suddenly loves me.
They zipped through that with a montage.
Yeah, that had no effect.
Yeah. I actually don't think either of
and even that montage was sort of like, hey, they're having fun. You're not really getting the scenario that I was just saying, which is sort of like, him in a position of power, like, do this, do that, take off your clothes, get into bed.
Yeah. Lick my asshole.
All the things that he wanted to do with her, that he's been dreaming about and like doing them. And then, and after doing them, then suddenly like things start to unravel. You never have that moment. But why do you think that the movie's successful if I'm wrong?
Baby, come over here and lick my asshole. No,
toss this salad.
Yeah, toss this salad. It's what Cat Williams, I guess. He breaks the fucking stick and he's like, I wish I was Cat Williams.
No nigga in the history of niggerdom.
Oh Jesus, we're keeping that in, everybody.
But that's Cat Williams' joke.
Yeah, that was Cat Williams. It's okay. It's okay as long as you're doing a Cat Williams impression. But
not never ever.
Okay, so what do I think? I have to accredit this to my friend Hunter Hancock, aka Meat Canyon. He actually said this, and I think he's right. Is that the movie is really about the fantasy, the power fantasy of hey, I can't approach girls. I guess there are just a lot of, it's difficult these days, like, I guess for younger people to kind of like meet girls and stuff. Like, it's harder because they're afraid of getting fucking canceled or even just like rejected. And also like, there are all these like bizarre standards. I don't know. Like I think it's harder than it was to connect with girls like these days. So
Okay.
let's just take that. Let's just okay. Well, what's your thing? What are you going to say?
I think that I'm going to say it's never been easy to connect with girls.
Okay,
Like
fine. That works too. That works too.
I think every era, every generation has new, things going on, new issues. But I don't think that there's ever been a time where everybody was like, wow, hooking up with chicks has been a breeze. Except maybe during like the summer of love in '67.
Yeah. I found I found that when I was in college or high school, actually high school, I couldn't. High school, I didn't date or do anything like that. I didn't start like fucking girls until I was like, out of high school. And at that point, I just found like, as long as if I just was, nice to a girl, that eventually, she would have sex with me. If I was nice to her and I just treated her okay. And then once I realized that, I was like, oh, this is actually like easy. Like, and you don't have to play any kind of weird trick or anything. You just have to kind of be nice to them. That's all you have to do. And this whole sort of friend zone sort of idea.
But then like even getting to that point where you're in a situation to be nice to a girl, like, that getting into that situation isn't like, I don't remember that being easy.
I mean, like you're in class with them or something, and then after class is over, you're like, hey, let's, start going over whatever. I mean, now it really is turning into the pickup artist fucking,
okay.
But okay, so but it doesn't change my point. Like, it's difficult. Like young guys, it's difficult for young guys to sort of like get girls. Like it's scary or it makes you nervous or whatever. Sure. And I do think it is harder these days just because of how disconnected people are. Things are a lot different in terms of like how people relate. Like people think it's weird when you call them on the phone. Like, why are you calling me? Like, you know what I mean? Like even that is just sort of an indicator of how things are different. But that's not the main point. And that's not what fucking Hunter was saying. He said that like, this movie is a power fantasy of just being able to sort of like supernaturally just make a girl fall completely in love with you. So right. It's kind of like, it's just like, just like any other, like a superhero movie or whatever, like a Spider-Man. Like what if I had those powers, or what, like what, sure. Or that movie Chronicle, like where the guy, they get, do you ever see that movie where the guys becomes telekinetic and they can like, it's shot like a found footage movie. And it's really very obviously supposed to be kind of like, so yeah, like what would you do if you just had like all encompassing, power to move things with your mind and do whatever you want? Like it's just a power fantasy movie. Yeah. The point is that's what that is. So that's what this is. It's like, what if I could just kind of point a finger and just make this girl like completely fall in love with me, like hopelessly in love with me. Right. Wouldn't that be cool? So, that's not terribly, it's not terribly difficult to understand or come up with. But here's the thing that makes it kind of, here's the thing that kind of makes it kind of, interesting and maybe even what makes it popular or profitable is that you can, the guy can watch the movie and he can sort of experience or at least kind of get to wallow a little bit in that power fantasy. But at the same time, he also can kind of be, like he can kind of detach himself from it because the guy, the main character in the movie is, we're not really seeing him do anything like really awful with it. So it's sort of like sanitized in a sense. Like it's sort of this, I don't know, this kind of like safe way to experience that kind of thing.
I'm going to say like, I think the opposite is going on. I think that younger kids, because they've been so, especially men, have been so kind of like beaten down as, you're victimizing everyone. You're the perpetual villain in culture today, that it's almost like, a validation of that. It's like this self-flagellating experience of like, yeah, I'm, like just sort of like you're watching this movie is like the same as sort of like beating yourself up of kind of like, yeah, I am, the guy in the movie is just a seemingly normal guy. And yet it turns out, guess what? He's a rapist, because all men are rapists, and I'm a white man and I'm a rapist too. And let's watch this white man rapist movie. Then it's like a soft rape. And we're all guilty of being soft rapists. And even if we have the thought in our minds of like, boy, I wish that girl loved me. I wish that girl loved me more than anyone. That's rape. You're committing soft rape. And I think that both men and women are so like, especially men, just beaten down by being villainized and made to feel like everything that you do and think is causing pain and suffering, amongst women and minorities, that like this is just a validation of that. And
no,
I think that younger audiences like to suffer. I think that's why trauma films are so popular. Because trauma.
I know.
Trauma films are so popular because like people like to reflect on suffering and their suffering, and I'm making people suffer, and I'm suffering because I'm making people suffer, and it's just like an endless spiral.
No, I don't agree. Like I totally understand where you're coming from, but just because you see stuff kind of like on, because I mean, like those voices on Reddit and on Twitter are just the loud voices. Like they don't reflect like the way people really are, Mm-hmm. And I think that remember that podcast Come Town?
Yeah.
So like,
well, I mean, I never listened to it, but I know it.
Right. Well, like that podcast is like a good example of like something that comes along that like everyone is kind of waiting for because they are sort of sick and tired of being told like, whatever, like, you can't make racist jokes. You can't be kind of crass and rude and stuff. Like, oh, we're like, what are you talking? Like, what is this? This isn't 2012, this kind of thing. And people are kind of like, oh, well, I guess all the stuff that I thought was funny is not funny anymore. And I have to just kind of change what I think is funny. And then all of a sudden, like these guys show up and they start just kind of goofing around and doing like, like kind of, it kind of harkens back to, I mean, people have talked about this before, but just this idea of like hanging out with your friends when you're like 15 and just kind of joking around and just being, it's like the more stupid and retarded that you can be, the better. Right. And that podcast was huge. And it sort of redefined kind of like everyone was like, oh, awesome. Like, see, like this is actually what we wanted. I've been being told by the friggin' Zionist controlled media that I have to be this one way, but this podcast comes along.
But I feel like, and there's other examples other than Come Town. There's other,
sure.
I think there's other artists that have been like, holding that flame of comedy, and just being able to like do and say whatever you want.
But without
the Red Scare girls too.
But hold on before you continue. Okay. Like, sorry, I just want to get in. But it's not politically coded is the thing too. It's not like I'm taking a I get it. Like Gavin McInnes, it's like fuck Gavin McInnes, like that. Like I know you're boys with him and everything, and like but I mean like his. Whenever I listen to anything he says, it's kind of like I have to take a stance, and it's just like, could you take it down a few notches? Like, I just want to and he's not that funny either. Like he's okay funny, but he's not as funny as he thinks he is.
I think it's pretty funny.
He's okay funny. But
I want to say that like, I think that like, okay, there's these pockets of Come Town and Red Scare,
Mm-hmm.
and they're very popular, but that doesn't mean that these other sort of woke, trauma aware factions aren't as popular or aren't as it's not like, oh, Cumtown's popular now, all that other woke shit, that's dead. That's not the case. Like, the culture is so fractured that both are simultaneously existing. And I think that the sort of the thought of, like, white men committing soft mind rape is being Trojan horsed in this film. So, like, some people who, the Cumtown fans can watch it and be like, oh, that was, a cool horror movie. And they're not really sort of realizing that this is actually, like, the underlying message in it is the one of, like, oh, all men are rapists, no matter who they are. And the people that like the woke shit and the sinners and they like movies that lecture to, and validate their feelings about, like, liberal politics. I feel like they're the ones who are probably, like, fully, like, embracing this movie and thinking, like, oh, this is terrific.
You're the one in the continental USA, so, I mean, maybe you know better than I do, but I also know that you don't leave your house all that much.
No, I don't. So I am pretty,
you're
closed off,
you're basically in Taiwan,
but maybe Taiwan too. But yeah. I do feel like, you're saying, like, oh, Cumtown's huge.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
as huge as you might think it is, it's not.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm just saying that, like, by all metrics, something like that shouldn't connect with anybody, but I feel like, and just like, hey, we can say retard again. And like people are, I just think that regular people, and not LA people too, like people who live in the Midwest and who live in the flyover states and stuff like that. I think that they're more interested in just having a good time than kind of, living up to whatever standards the coastal elites fucking set for them,
Well, I mean, now we're getting into this whole thing about, because I do also feel like there is a difference between the cyber world and, like, politics in the cyber world and, like, what's going on out in the real
streets
world, on the streets, where that's where I am
on the streets.
I'm in the hood. I see, things going down that you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. I saw a man walking down the street wearing no shoes one time.
I saw a man stick his arm up an elephant's ass. And then I'm like, dude, you shouldn't do that. And he was like, what do you mean, it quits show business?
Yeah, that's it. That's how the joke goes. But go on. Sorry, keep going. Tell me, finish your point, and maybe we'll. I
don't even remember what I was saying.
You were saying something about how Glenn Close is the most beautiful woman in the world in Fatal Attraction.
No, I think that I think that the woke shit and it's not finished. It's still there, lurking.
Yeah. Okay. So
ready to, and I feel like there's these factions, like there's certain factions that are completely, like, have let go of all that woke stuff. But then I do feel like there's other factions that are really, like, buckling down and being like, no, this is the way it is. This is how civilized society behaves. We have to follow these rules.
Okay. Well, so to relate it back to the film, I think that it's like, we get our avatar of the film is this guy Bear, and we see the movie through his eyes, and he's sort of like the lonely, like the male loneliness epidemic male that we, that I guess maybe, I guess like people who watch the film can like relate to some degree, maybe vicariously in some cases. And we like him and we sympathize with him. And we also, I guess, sympathize with sort of him, someone hands you like a stack of fucking whatever money, or just like something like, here's a free wish. You can have whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Who isn't going to take that, right? Hey, here's a trip to Epstein Island. You want to come to Epstein Island? Yeah, sure. Sounds great. Let's do that. That's what the fucking, what's happening there. And then he goes ahead and he does it, and then he's in over his head. But we don't see any of that stuff where he kind of like really takes advantage. He's always kind of like, oh my God, she's creepy. And it's like, so like he never kind of like, debases her, or like in this film, I think that we get to have our cake and eat it too. We get to sort of live the power fantasy of like making a girl who doesn't like you, making that bitch fucking like you. But then at the same time, we also get to remain the nice guy. We get to remain the cool dude who's compassionate and who's a decent person, and
right.
And that's what I think the power of the movie is, and to some degree maybe why it's popular, is sort of this teetering, this on the razor's edge, wishy-washy stance of kind of like how the self-contained politics of the film work, I guess you could say.
Because okay, we're saying like full stop, this guy is a rapist, but yet the movie continues to want us to sympathize with him through the whole thing,
right?
And it's making me think of Happiness, in that like we're following that character, the child molester, and we're kind of like the movie kind of like kind of manipulates us to want to like be careful there,
Yeah. Don't no. Your wife's gonna catch you putting roofies into the pudding.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
or chocolate fudge.
But you're kind of like, you allow yourself to be kind of like manipulated by it, because there's a comedy to it.
Yeah.
Whereas here, and so the director's aware of what he's doing. Like he's doing this on purpose. Whereas you don't get the sense of that here. You think that Bear is great, or not great, but he's a good guy.
He's like what he's doing is understandable.
He's an everyman. He's a good guy, and give him a break. And up until like, he even like, at the end, he kills himself. And even that is supposed to be like,
a selfless act.
But then I was kind of like, well, now this woman's up for double murder, because she killed the other girl, and she also shot the annoying friend.
Yeah.
So it's actually not all that great what he did.
Yeah, he just kind of slips out of there.
He should have killed her too. But we're meant to like him. We're at no point are like, even when he's trying to like, he's run into the magic shop trying to get a new willow stick and trying to get his friend to like, to make a wish. And like, we're sort of like, how's he going to get out of this? Like, how's he going to solve this problem? How's he going to get things back to normal? At no point are we thinking like this guy's committed a horrible act. He's just sort of, a victim of some, supernatural accident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like he's just as much of a victim as anybody else. And on a super, I mean, the name of the game of this fucking film is superficiality. Like on a superficial level, like the girl sort of her domineering presence could be very misconstrued, like at a glance of her having kind of like her terrorizing him. So he's actually kind of the victim of the whole thing, you know? It's like, it's, anyways, it all like
but I think also that sort of fatal attraction aspect, I think, is something that appeals to audiences too. I think
sure.
Just like that story.
Yeah, for sure. That, and that, yeah, like bitches do be crazy.
Yeah. I think that's a popular story.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, like, you know, isn't it crazy? Like when a girl is like too clingy, like, you know, when she like, when she like likes you more than you like her, it's just so stupid. It makes me think of just how stupid I was when I was like, you know, 22, you know, just like the stupid things that I would think in my head were like, like how the world worked, like how people are. But in any case, yeah, like I
just think what you think of yourself now, 20 years from now.
Yeah, well, yeah, when I'm your age, when I'm fucking 72 years old,
78.
Yeah, no, so I mean, like, I do think that like obsession is due. Oh, and that's the last thing I wanted to say too, is that for whatever reason, the internet has decided that this film is good, and that really, you know, makes people nervous about saying they don't like it in a real way, because they don't want to just be thought of as like a hater or just someone like, oh, you're just someone who doesn't like fun. You know, why can't you just like this movie? It's obviously good, you know? And it's like a, what's it like a snowball effect, you know, like once enough people, once it generates, critical mass, everything else just kind of gets sort of destroyed in its sort of like ultra hot fucking force field that it generates, dissenting attitudes. But you know, if we're being honest about it, like I think the criticisms that we made during this episode are like, you know, fuck, like they're right there. They're not difficult to see. And, you know, I mean, I do think that the movie has good performances that are definitely a lot better than just competent. And I think also the film is well paced. I think that, like, although, you know, to your point, like you said, oh yeah, we do kind of keep returning back to this same sort of like
I feel like there's not a lot of escalation.
Right.
Because, and you know, I think that also goes back to my criticism of like, this guy's got no family. He's got no like serious career. Like, so he's got nothing to lose. He doesn't have a life. So there's nothing to kind of like chip away at.
Yeah.
And
we just see her kind of get crazier. We just see her start behaving more bizarre.
So you don't see like, oh, she's like alienating his family or like he hurts his mother, or, you know, is like causes him to lose his job. Like there's, you know, or he's got like a big audition and she fucks it up. Like there's no, like his life isn't like unraveling in a escalating way. Like it's not, the storytelling is weak.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that like what can be thought of as escalation in the film is entirely has to do with her behaving more crazily, like her.
And it's just like these scenes of like, okay, let's put her in, like, okay, they go to boys' night and we'll just throw her in the mix, or, you know, we'll have like, just sort of like, we'll have these little moments and we'll just have her act crazy in these moments. But it's not like the nightmare escalates as the movie moves along.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, to some degree, like that, the format of like just sort of picking what your topic is and then just sort of exploring it from like a number of angles and sort of across some different scenarios. Like that kind of was my, you know, like methodology when I did the sadness. Like just like keep it simple and then just show like kind of like, okay, what's it like in this scenario? What's it like in this scenario? What's it like in this scenario? But like in terms of like a more rich progression, it's not there. So I mean, I can kind of like, I think that I don't mind it, especially it's like like kind of a younger filmmaker. That I wouldn't hold them to those kinds of standards. Like, I think that that's fine. Like, I don't hold that against them, because it's like in terms of like the story functioning on its own terms. Like, yeah, okay, the guy doesn't have a family. Let's just say that that's the case, and here's how the movie goes. It feels okay to me. Like, I mean, sure, maybe that you can kind of come up with some missed opportunities, but like, when you watch the film, I never really got the sense that anything was missing from like the pieces of the film. The only thing that I got the sense of is just like the horror elements are just like, the guy's not fucking taking his own movie seriously,
Right.
Like that's the way I felt about it. But anyways, I regardless, I guess we're not going to get to St. Jack today, which is a bummer, but hey, we could do that, another day this week. Okay. I just don't feel like talking. My throat's kind of bugging me.
Sure.
Um,
We've been talking about obsession. We've been obsessed about obsession for 90 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Fuck. Yeah. We're not talking about St. Jack. But yeah, so I give Obsession, like, I mean, I can't not give it anything less than like a 2. I think I gave it a 2.
I'd have to say 2 eggplants.
Yeah. So we got a 2. Obsession is a 2. Sorry guys. Sorry if that doesn't fucking if we're not going along with the internet's opinion of Obsession. Sorry if we're haters. Sorry if we're fucking haters. But yeah, that's the way I feel. I mean, fuck. Crossed is going to come out, and you guys are all going to say, "Oh, that one sucks too." Probably.
That's a 2 eggplanter.
Yeah, it's a 2 eggplanter. Okay, cool. Let's call it a day. Right. Bye, everybody.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.